Um, yeah, I don't know why it just discontinued. That's weird. I'm just sharing it out. Sorry about that, everyone. Don't know why. Yeah, so you're saying if you're going to present to me that you're going to destroy your child sexually, I would be like, that's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, that's insane. And you should have your natural empathetic response. Empathy is people think that empathy, I mean, it is moral, but it's a lot of what we have. This is why I talk about instincts. A lot of our morality is based on instincts. All animals have a wince response for animals of their own species, which is, you see someone take a blow and you empathetically go, ooh,
Yeah.
that's an empathetic, the wince response is an empathetic response. So when I tell you I'm doing these things, or if I tell you, we do FGM and sedan and you wince, or if I tell you, we used to bind girls' feet and you wince. Wincing is a natural empathetic response to inflicted pain. And what you do, though, what sociopathic people or ideologies do is to create a trap for your empathy. So instead of being empathetic about not wanting to bind a girl's foot, this is why I had that video about talking about this. They had a little trick where they told parents, if you love your daughter, you cannot love her feet,
Right.
to dissociate parents from, loving part of their children. And we see that now, that we basically say the same thing. If you love your child, if you love your daughter, you can't love her healthy breasts. And we say that by saying, do you want, a trans son or a dead daughter? That's the empathy trap. That's the hook. Gender affirming care is an empathy trap to dissociate you from the medical harm that you are inflicting on human beings. Because you see a lot of these people, again, when you
Sorry, those are gifts.
loud, you see a lot of these people, who have destroyed their endocrine system. First of all, you're a lifelong medical patient. If you are on an endocrine disrupting drug long enough, even if you quote unquote detransition,
Yeah.
you are on it for life. You are a medical patient for life. So these people there is an industry intent on creating lifelong medical patients. Already people should be sus about that. That's very suspicious.
Well, what breaks my heart is like I've seen multiple videos on TikTok of young girls under 20 taking wrong sex hormones, taking testosterone, and their voice deepens irreparably in 2 months. It's
Yeah.
like that's how fast the damage occurs.
Yeah.
And it's so sad that like, and then of course big tech just supports all of these romantic videos of girls giving each other tea shots and girls doing this like, look at me now, I'm this sexy man. They do all these thirst trap videos of
Mhm.
pretending that they're male, and it's just like,
Yeah.
these are self-harm videos. You might as well put up girls cuttinging themselves and teaching other girls how. Like
Well, and
it's
we have a lot of self-harming that is normalized in the culture when it should not be. Like there is a lot of like thinspo stuff, like
yeah.
Eugenia Cooney on this app. I've seen
Oh my
other
God.
I searched her on this app and then I somehow got into a terrible algorithm that kept showing me other thinspo type accounts. So all of these other accounts kept showing up in my feed of, these girls who are completely obsessed and romanticizing their very obvious self-harm, and it's being allowed here. So these other girls, who consider themselves to be trans men, who are taking these selfies at the beach, like I'm fine, I finally got to go shirtless at the beach.
Yeah.
It's this total rite of passage. There's a lot of these quote unquote rights, like the men taking a selfie in the bathroom,
Or
these.
the autogynephiles are rampant on here right now because of like paraphilias cluster and they progress. So they not only can they do their autogynephilia fetish full time in front of their families, at work, in women's spaces, but they're on TikTok taking everyone through each and every journey step, like, oh, today I wore a dress at work, and then they dance around in the video in the dress that they wore, or they show us the bikini they're going to wear today, they show us the dress they're going to wear at work today, they tell us that, oh, I went into the women's bathroom for the first time. So they're like, they're doing an exhibitionism, paraphilia, along with their autogynephilia, and they can, and they get all of this attention and support. And oh my God, do the fucking women ever love bomb these men? So like, women are insufferable about this. They really, really just support the hell out of these men, and they're just like Deviana. If you go onto his lives and watch the women, they're just like, "You're so beautiful. Oh my God, where did you get that wig from? Your makeup is perfect today. You're such a good parent. Your daughter's going to love you so much. Oh my God." And they just sit there and love, like, thousands of comments where, so these men are not only getting to do their fetish full time, but it's being like celebrated and marked as brave and beautiful
Yeah.
and inspiring. They say, "Oh, you've inspired me. You've changed my mind on so many things. Oh my God, like, this is
Yeah.
a disaster. This is a
I
literal
know.
disaster
Whereas if they treated these men like
with
actual women,
revulsion."
they would be insulting them. Like that's, I get insulted all the time. Like, you have such a high forehead, or your eyebrows are terrible, or you look old.
Yeah.
Like, like you're basically like this constant, like, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly,
Yeah, if you're a real woman, yeah, you get all that.
and like that's not how these
If
men.
you're a real woman, you look like a man. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're a man who's trying to pretend to be a woman, you're a beautiful, inspiring,
Yeah. Yeah.
wonderful woman.
Well, and one of the things I always say to them is like, you like, you're mad because me calling you a man makes you insecure, because ultimately you are an imposter. You have a massive imposter complex. You're massively insecure because at any time anyone can expose you for the fraud that you are. But like, if you call me ugly, if you say these things about me, my hairline, I look like a man, blah 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 blah, like, I guess maybe if you're really really good at it. I mean, it's hard to hurt my feelings anymore online, because I've just heard like everything, like every part of me has been critiqued. So I feel desensitized to it. But like, maybe you could hurt my feelings. But what you can't do is, you cannot make me insecure about the fact that I'm a woman. Like, nothing you say to me is going to make me insecure. You can call me a man all day. I am not confused. It doesn't make me insecure. I don't feel the need to argue. Just like if you were calling me a frog and not a human, and you're like, you are a frog, you look like a frog, you're always hopping, you look like a frog.
You're
Like, it
always
wouldn't,
hopping.
like, I wouldn't feel the need to argue you. You're like, no, I'm a human. I am a human. Like, I don't have to argue you. It doesn't make me feel insecure. It doesn't bring up like a need to fight in me. I don't have to prove anything.
You don't need to hop less.
I don't need to hop less. Yeah. Like, so these things that they say to
You
me
don't
when they're
have to
like, you're,
adjust the
you're a
amount you
man.
hop.
I'm like, it doesn't, yeah, that makes you insecure because you are a man. It doesn't make me insecure because I don't have to prove anything.
Oh my God. Yeah, your series that you did, Sex Mimics Are Mimics, was one of my absolute favorites. I started calling them sex mimics for a long time,
Yeah.
but people don't really understand that terminology that well. I say men who wear us as a costume, men who want to pretend they're the opposite sex, men who are um, men who
Is
are, yeah, just who don't like being male. I say men who don't like being male and want to men who want to pretend reality is not real.
I often say men
um
who practice sex deception.
yep, sex deception. So there's so many things. Like, I wish that we could talk every day about everything, because like your sex mimics thing, that needs to be talked about. The media stuff for children, we could have long discussions about that. I feel like the uh, the breast cancer journey, and how these elective surgeries are a slap in the face and a harm denying, and just very, very insensitive and normalizing, and just watering down the trauma and the horror of what women have to face who have to get double mastectomies, the drag queen groomer hour and how that affects, like, I just feel like there's so much to talk about. And yeah, so if you're ever open to just having lots of discussions, I would love to like just have lives and then we can have discussions. Like people can come up and debate us or and these kinds of things because there's just so much to pick your brain about. But as far as the gender dysphoria discussion goes, do you think that you didn't really talk about how the trans activists got a hold of the gender dysphoria? It used to have a criteria, right? It used to be gender identity disorder, which had
Yeah.
more of a criteria than just
Well,
leaving
it
in the
used to
symptom of
be
gender dysphoria.
it used to be transvestism, which was a known paraphilia, and paraphilias show up in clusters. So people who have the paraphilia of transvestism often have the, PE blah O one. These paraphilias show up together. And the paraphilia was known to be primarily present in adult men. And I'm hearing an echo.
Was that? Oh, sorry. Oh, am I echoing or are you echoing?
I'm going to myself.
Oh no. Okay. Mute and then exit. Like just swipe out and then swipe back in. See if that works.
Okay.
Okay. Are you echoing still?
How do I get out? Wait, I see.
You can just swipe out and then back in. It should yeah, there you go. Oh no, you actually left. that might work too. Sometimes when you go down and you can come back up, it'll stop echoing. My internet is crap too. I'm about to leave so I can go into better internet. Okay. I think I invited you.
Okay. Now I'm back.
Are you echoing now?
I am. But I'm going to deal with it. If you can't hear it,
I can't hear it, but I hate that you have to endure that.
So in the DSM-3, it was transvestism. Then it changed to gender identity disorder. So it was, It was a known disorder, or it was classified as a disorder. But ultimately, activists, and this happens all the time, people don't also realize that activists influence the DSM. I mean, this is how we got some of the sexist diagnoses out of the DSM, is because feminists, activists were like, hey, this diagnosis actually punishes women who, it stigmatizes women who want to get out of unhealthy relationships by calling them masochistic, so there's a lot of things that have been in the DSM that are influenced by activists, but this diagnosis is also one of them where it was influenced by activists. And they wanted it to, one, not be classified as a disorder. So they wanted to be able to bill insurance for it, but not have it be listed as a disorder. They just wanted it to be listed as a mental, I don't even know how it's exactly classified. They just somehow get through the whole thing without calling it a disorder because they're trying to make it be something that is innate. But you should know that a number of men who sat on the committee for diagnosis also sit on the committee for WPATH, which is the World Health Organization, Trans Health Organization. And Genevieve Gluck covered this. So one of the gentlemen who is a WPATH member who sat on the committee to create the diagnosis for gender dysphoria is retired California State University Chico professor Thomas W. Johnson. He is also a formative member of the Eunuch Archive and advocates for expanding the definition of gender identity to include men with sadomasochistic and even PED blah castration fantasies.
Of course.
So he writes fantasies about child eunuchs and child castration that are sexual in nature. So he sexualizes child castration. He is a person who helped create this diagnosis. So there's a number of sexologists and pedophile. Oh, damn it! Sorry, apologists who sat on the committee for this. So the committee is very sus. Why are they trying to naturalize something that was known just to be an adult male issue and basically creating a lot of media propaganda and branding around this being an issue that affects kids? And we see this a lot of times. We've seen this in the past where a lot of times issues that get celebrated by celebrities, that get put into the DSM post fact, explode, and there is a lot of social copycat syndrome. We saw this as far back as like Karen Carpenter dealing with bulimia and anorexia, and after her and her celebrity presence, the diagnosis was put into the DSM, and when there were barely any cases of girls doing this themselves after her and the media explosion around it, there were suddenly thousands and thousands of girls exhibiting this behavior. And the thing is, a lot of kids are going to seek an outlet for their confused, depressed, pubescent feelings. We saw this with the CUTTING. We see how once it became popularized, once there were Hollywood stories being told about it, there is a lot of copycat syndrome where kids who are seeking an outlet to express these feelings are doing this behavior. And this happens all the time where, again, it's not something that is organically happening from within them, although it may appear like that, but it is largely socially influenced. And we can see this in this thing. They want to tell us that, quote, trans always existed, but no, it did not always exist. There were not child transsexuals. It did not always exist that kids were, wanting to, demanding and wanting to be the opposite sex on threat of unaliving themselves, and that unaliving tactic also is not something that any usual therapist would listen to. You wouldn't listen to a man who was like in a divorce if he was like, I'm going to unalive myself if my wife leaves me. We don't just tell the wife like, well, you can't leave him, I guess. It's not, it's a massively manipulative tactic. We don't use that tactic in other areas. It's a manipulative tactic. We don't use that tactic in other areas.
Well, the fact that they were even able, hold on, let me turn off my Wi-Fi. The fact that they were even able to, sell this as a possibility. Like I always say to people, in the history of mankind, we've never needed to interfere with our children's healthy puberty, put them on wrong sex hormones, cut off their healthy body parts, and pretend they're the opposite sex in order to keep them alive. That has never been something we've needed to do to our children. It's still not something we need to do to our children. And the fact that you can be so indoctrinated out of your humanity, out of your common sense, out of your intuition, that's alarming to me, that so many people can be so thoroughly indoctrinated out of your instincts and your intuition and your common sense and your humanity by this ideology. It's not even a good ideology. It doesn't even make sense. It's not even a well put together ideology.
No. And the thing is the DSM is well aware. The APA is well aware that they are in the business now of creating identities rather than just diagnoses. They know this. Oh gosh, where I'm going to see if I can find my quote on this. Okay, let's see. Well, okay. I can't remember her name. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for her name. But so it was known, for example, that in during the creation of the DSM-5. Okay, here we go. Carol Bernstein wrote. She was the APA president at the time, which is the American Psychological Association. Wrote in Psychiatric News that this was when Asperger's was being taken out. Asperger's is now under autistic spectrum disorders. But she was arguing that Asperger's not be taken out because the diagnosis gave them, quote, a sense of uniqueness and belonging, and that they had christened themselves Aspies, and that to delete the diagnosis might, quote, deprive them of their identity.
Wow.
Deprive them of their identity. So they know the APA is very well aware that they are creating identities for people to identify with and as. And this again, I've said this before, but who is the very best consumer? When your consumer choices, like the diagnostic criteria is all about consumer choices. So when your consumer
Yeah.
choices are no longer just consumer things that you're buying, you're no longer just buying plastic surgery. You are a medical patient and you need this for your mental wellness.
And you're there's a sense of belonging. Like these are human needs, right? The need to belong, the need
Mm-hmm.
to have a the need to have a place somewhere and other people to belong with. And so these are foundations of selling things, because if we can market to people's like human fundamental needs for belonging and identity and expression of who they truly are. But we'll tell you who you truly are, and then we'll sell you what you need to be who you truly are. It's just
Yeah.
it's so manipulative. And the critiques of these industries, um, they're important because we need to stop just being sheep for the slaughter. We need to stop being led down whatever consumer capitalistic misogynistic perverted path the elites want to lead people down. I personally, I get called a conspiracy theorist all the time, but I honestly think that the ultimate goal to this is transhumanism.
Yeah.
I think it just makes people. It merges big tech and big pharma and the medical
Yep.
industrial complex, and
Yep.
I think that that's going to make the pharmaceutical profits look like a lemonade stand as far as merging technology with
Yep.
biology, and all
Yep.
of the creating synthetic sex identities is just one step to creating a whole bunch of synthetic identities. People are so disassociated right now because of technology and going on their computers and disassociating from their bodies and identifying with anime or avatars or even VR and different like worlds like that. They're going to want to make themselves look like all sorts of things that
Yeah.
feel like an expression to them.
Yeah.
But what's more is that we're unfettering the medical consumer market, and by getting rid of medical ethics, getting rid of boundaries and safeguarding, and we're utilizing our medical systems for consumer purposes, for this transhumanistic direction, which is the wrong direction to go. It's unethical. It's consumer, or it's capitalist driven. You know, you've probably heard of like Martin Rothblatt,
Yep.
who wrote the book
Yep. Yep.
From Transgender
Yep.
to
Yep. Yep.
Transhumanism.
Yep.
Like that's the direction. And I know people are like, oh, you're tinfoil hat, you're conspiracy, but like I honestly think that the two major agendas are transhumanism and breaking down the sexual boundaries of society so that men can literally just live their paraphilias like openly.
Well, and
Those.
also so the state can control birth. Like why ask
Oh
yourself
yeah, yeah.
also, why is this far more of an attack on women than men? Why do we hear birthing person, chest feeder, menstruator, vulva owner, uterus haver,
Yeah.
a birthing parent? Why don't we hear the same from
People
men?
with vaginas is what the Canadian Supreme Court calls women because the word woman is too problematic.
Yeah, front hole havers. We don't hear the same thing for men. We don't hear ejaculating parent, inseminating parent,
We don't.
prostate owner,
Penis haver.
penis haver. It is a specific thing targeted on women, and more than just women, on mothers. And this is little talked about, but this is, to me, a move for state controlled birth, because again, why are we chemically castrating hundreds of thousands of kids right now? And why is this rising at the same time of surrogacy culture?
Yeah.
Again, there are tons of celebrities who are trying to normalize and glamorize surrogacy and make surrogacy look amazing, which
Yeah.
is, womb rental. To me, it's just as bad as the prostitution industry, in terms of
Absolutely.
buying and
It's human
selling women's
trafficking and
bodies.
prostitution
Yeah,
together.
at the same time.
Yeah.
But this transhumanism, where they want to make a move for state controlled birth and designer babies, and and for, I mean, again, and this is all breaking down. I mean, it is a breakdown of family. It's a breakdown, and I'm not talking about like conservative, like family values. I am talking about North Korea, like what happens in authoritarian, totalitarian countries when family bonds are broken down, so that relationship means nothing, so that you are not loyal to your family and friends. You
Yeah.
are loyal to the state.
Yes.
I'm not coming from a conservative position of like, oh, family values. I am talking about literally breaking down the bonds of connection, so that you do not have anyone you can turn to. You can turn to the state. And I worry about this on social media. I worry about the proliferation of videos that I see about glamorizing being single and not being in a relationship. Like,
Oh
oh, it's
yeah.
so much more better to be single. It's so much
Tons
better.
of
Like,
that.
it's so
Tons of
much
that.
better to not have kids. It's so much better. I can vacation, I can travel, I can live this selfish life, free of commitment, when I don't have a relationship and I don't have family and I don't have kids, and glamorizing this way of being, like single girl life, girl dinner, like all these things that are, to me, an attack on bonds of intimacy and depth. When you have true intimacy with someone else, whether it's a friend, whether it's your boyfriend or your husband or your family, those that intimacy creates depth. And if you do not, if your bonds are all shallow, if every single one of your bonds is a shallow bond, I also see this culture of like, I don't want to go out. I want to be inside. I want to stay home. I don't want to go out anymore.
Yes.
I just, people ask me out, and I have so much fun canceling plans. I don't want to have plans.
Yeah,
Again,
there,
this
that
is
right from
being,
the get-go, I saw that right from the get-go of social media. They were like, oh, I don't want to adult, I don't want to go out with my friends, I'd much rather stay home, look at how
yeah,
comfortable my house is.
yeah,
On and on
yeah.
and on. Yeah.
Like, just stay inside your house. Don't create social bonds. Don't create depth and intimacy. And because if you have intimacy is depth. You can't be a person like, and that's, I think, why polyamory and all that is being pushed too, because you don't have depth. If you have like 5 different partners, you do not have depth. You don't have that level of depth that you have with that one-on-one partner who, like, sees all your ugly bits,
Yeah.
like
It's very
sometimes,
shallow. Yeah, to stay
sometimes, like,
shallow is to stay safer in some ways, that people think like, oh, if you stay really shallow, if you keep everything like this, it's the brave new world, right? They're just,
and it's a lack of true security, because without true bonds, you also don't have security. You're not secure
yeah,
in that
nobody cares
relationship,
about you. Yeah.
and you cannot fully, no one is ever fully seeing you. Like, all the time I say to my boyfriend sometimes, like, because I have studied psychology. I know a lot. I have a lot of emotional tools. I have a lot of tools. I have a lot of regulation tools. I've worked a lot on my trauma, but still, I am a human being, not a robot. So I have a lot, I have imperfect moments. I have moments where I've had tantrums, adult style tantrums, but like, especially during my cancer, I had moments of breakdown, frustration, anger. And I'm not just talking about I am talking more about, like, in a way that is a like a maladaptive response, like, attacking the other person because I don't feel good, and
Yeah.
I then later I might apologize to my boyfriend, like, I'm sorry, you didn't deserve that. Like, I was triggered. I was having a response. I try to apologize and deal with these things, on purpose, but and he always says, like, oh, well, the rocks come with the farm. which I love, which I
It's
love
true.
because but him being able to, like, I don't have to be perfect with him. I don't have to be on my perfect behavior. I can mess up. I can show him these parts of me that, frankly, I judge myself. Like, these are ugly parts sometimes. Like, these are unattractive. I wouldn't want anyone on social media to see me have, like, a tantrum, and a fit because I, feel insecure at this point, at certain points in my relationship, or at certain points, during my cancer journey, because I want to, like, I of course I'm trying to speak to my highest values. I want to speak to the tools that I have and the highest values that I have. But again, no one is perfect. No one is, like, thank God I'm not a robot. I don't want to be a robot. I want to be learning. But the point here is that being able to be naked, vulnerable, to not always be my best version of myself. And this doesn't mean, I'm allowed to be, like, abusive to him. It just means sometimes I mess up. Sometimes, despite my best desires to have, like, really caring, kind behavior at all times, we're tired, we're overtired, we're hungry, we're
Overwhelmed.
emotionally drained and overwhelmed, and we don't have perfect behavior. So intimacy gives you security and depth. I can be myself. I can be seen. I can be fully seen here. He can see, he also gets to see me better than anyone online sees me. He sees my brilliance and my shine and my sparkle more than anyone. I can't,
Yeah.
those things can't come across here, as much as, like, thank you for, fangirling me, as much as, like, you say, you have reflected some very kind things about me, but you don't really see my brilliance. You don't see how, fun and spunky and, free spirited. You don't He sees all those things because we
Yeah.
have intimacy. We have depth, we have intimacy, we have, and these things help you, they fortify you to be able to do things like fight the system. If
Well,
you are not
they're our
fortified.
humanity. They make
Yeah.
you human, and that's how you usher in transhumanism. Is you unmoor people from reality, you unmoor them from their own humanity, and anyone who can attack and destroy their body because of an aesthetic they're going for within their mind, that is so disassociative. That is so violent. For you to be able to disassociate from your own body to the point where you can enact violence against it, that's where they want you. They want you right there. They want you to be able to, because all of these transhumanistic technologies they're painful, they're invasive. They take cutting in and destroying and reconfiguring your human body in order to make these technologies integrated with your biology. So one of the ways to do that is to cut people off from their own humanity
Yeah.
and from their connection to
Yeah.
not just their own humanity with their own body, but with other people's humanity. And so the expectation is through social media and through whatever is for people not to be human. Everything needs to be image. You need to
Yeah.
put your best foot
Yeah.
forward. You have to put the filters on, the makeup on, the beauty techniques on. You have to stand in that certain light that makes you look the best. You have to present yourself separate from your own humanity. And then when people fall short of that, they're attacked and
Yeah.
ostracized and demonized. And and then people also love doing that. They love building up idols and tearing them down.
Yeah.
And and we so it really is a fight, as Jennifer Billick says, for our humanity to stay human.
Yeah.
um, I know that Jennifer Billick might have a bit gone off the rails lately, but I really value the work that she's done thus far, and I really
Yeah.
resonate with a lot of it. I think that she's really on track with the whole transhumanism thing. The autogynephile billionaires pushing this ideology through academia. through funding gender clinics, funding NGOs and foundations and trans activist groups and lobby groups who train trans activists, put them in school boards and
Yeah.
politics, and all of these things, are, the Pritzkers, all of
Yeah.
them, like with their tech companies and their medical companies, like merging
Yeah.
them together. This is all
Pritzker.
real. Yeah,
I mean,
Pritzkers.
I've been a lot in the hospital, and she talks about Stryker organization. I obviously I've been in the hospital a lot over the last year and a half, and Stryker is all over everything. You see the name Stryker everywhere. So when
Wow.
she's like talking about Stryker Foundation, I'm just like, I'm looking at the beds, I'm looking at
Oh
the
God.
machines that they hook me up to. I'm looking at the like
Yeah.
their printout that reads all my stuff. I'm like, oh, Stryker, 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 Stryker. Of
Yeah.
course of course they're putting money into this. They trans again, tech, the largest industry, the largest, more bigger than the pharmaceutical drug industry, is the pharmaceutical tech industry.
Yeah.
Pharmaceutical tech is the fastest growing industry right now.
And it's going to make the profits of the pharmaceutical industry look like nothing compared to it, because it's like, I don't know, did you watch the latest Black Mirror at all? The
No,
late
no.
Oh, I would recommend it, because they have
Okay.
this one, because I don't know if you've watched Black Mirror, but they
I've
have,
watched it before. I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah, go
yeah,
on.
they just did a recent series of it, and one of them was this transhumanism episode where the wife got into an accident, and they hooked her up to basically, like, they hooked her consciousness into, like, basically cell towers that were around, and so the only way she could be alive and exist was to stay within the bandwidth of these different towers. And then, oh no, but if you up your package, then you can enhance her, experience of the world. You can enhance her sensuality. You can enhance, oh, but if you up the package, you can go further away. You can go on vacation, and there we've just installed cell towers over there that help her. Like, they kept upselling, and she was like, they were downloading advertisements through her consciousness. They were,
Yeah,
and they
they
got to
want
the
that.
point where they
They
couldn't.
want those friggin' chips in our brain.
Yeah, like, it was just, these are like Black Mirror. I appreciate them because they're always showing the dystopic possible outcomes of
Yeah.
our trajectory. And so this one was really chilling, and it was heartbreaking too, because, like, it ended up like she was losing her job because she kept doing, like, unsolicited advertisements towards children and things, and then he lost his job because he was trying to support her staying on this technology to keep her alive, and he was doing these horrible camming things where he was knocking his teeth out and drinking piss and stuff like that to try to, like,
Yeah.
do they really incorporated a lot of what's going on in the culture into this one episode. But it was just, it was so profound and powerful. Like, he ended up unaliving her because they both just couldn't sustain keeping her alive on this transhumanistic technology that they kept upping the.
Well, one scare that sound I will check that out. That sounds terrifying, and I worry that they show us these things to normalize it, to get us used to it before they aware and advised. Um, Everyone, I don't know if everyone knows Mary Kate Mulvaney. She was on here for a while, and now she's largely on X. But she's a friend, and we've met in person before. Oh, can people hear me? Can you guys hear me right now? Or I see that the live is paused. Okay, okay. So I'll keep talking even though Martha is paused. Okay. Well, Mary Kate I've met her in person, so we're friends in person. She I don't remember what her exact job is. I don't know if she's a vet tech or what. I don't know what her job is, a veterinary job. I know she has a specialty with birds, but anyway, she was saying that she has seen, I didn't know this existed, but she has seen a lot of people. There is a new thing where you, if you are a very rich person, she lives in a rich area in Florida, and you can clone your pet. So she has seen people doing this already where they are cloning like their dog or their cat. And sometimes these animals are on their like third cloning. And she said there is something really wonky about these animals. And it is like the animals don't have a soul. She said there's something really weird and really off about them that you can feel and sense, that there's something really lacking in their animal spirit, and that this is, to me, this test of people who are cloning their animals. This is something that they're testing on animals, and I do believe they're gonna try to eventually do it with humans. What if you have a child who passes, now, maybe they will try to convince you to clone your child. So there is a lot of, to me, this is a very scary thing. I don't think it is a good idea. And I do think there is something very dissociative about the notion of cloning. And I can imagine, I haven't seen what Mary Kate is talking about, but this idea, or this like noticing that she has, that there is something off, off or odd or lacking about these animals. And she says she has said that she doesn't feel 100% safe around them, like the dogs. Like she doesn't feel like, she's as comfortable, like she doesn't feel as able to predict their behavior. Like she doesn't know, like, if they're going to go off or something like wonky is going to happen with them. Yeah, like the movie Multiplicity. I see that. Yeah, that's right. That was Michael Keaton was in that film. I remember that film. Yeah, like that movie Multiplicity. Okay, so Martha just sent me.
Am I back? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay, so what happened was my phone overheated and booted me out of the live. And like my phone, so now I have the air conditioning like cranked, but like my phone has never overheated in the history of my life. It's because we're talking about big tech and the medical industrial complex. And they're just like, my phone's like self destruct. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so I'm not sure if there's any ops left in here, but if your phone was overheating too, really? That's so weird. Because we're not allowed to talk about it. I had like multiple restrictions. I got like the live got taken down once, and there was no like there was no hate speech or nothing. It just said live was discontinued, and I was like, okay, and then I just started it back up again. This was a very strange conversation that like was interfered with quite a bit by the technological end of it. Like Amy was having an echo. I was having trouble inviting her up. I had to restart. It like friggin' went away on me for some reason. And then my phone just overheated, which it's never done before, even in a hot day. So it's not even hot today. Like, I don't know why it overheated. My phone was not like in a hot place. So I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much. So much to Amy Sousa. If you want to, like, let me know when you want to come up and talk. Um, Sex mimics, drag queen groomer hour, pop and ollie, transhumanism, how it's like P3s and P3 apologists who not only perpetrate this ideology but orchestrated it. Um, Little Red Riding Hood, instincts, safeguarding. So much to talk about. So much to talk about. And hopefully you're okay if I put this on my YouTube. My YouTube's not very famous, but it's just good to have it out there so people can access it if they want to. So, yeah, if anybody wants to debate, hey Hula, did you catch Amy Sousa? She was here for a while. I'll put the live on YouTube if that's okay with you, Amy. I see that you're here. Oh, Hula, you missed it. Oh, yeah, yeah. Amy, if you want to do more discussions or lives or lectures, um, or even like I honestly want to dedicate my life to fighting this ideology. I already have for many, many years now. I would be so interested in getting involved with, some of the more um, powerfully effective turfs in the world, like yourself and Kelly J. Keane and all the women that you mentioned you were collaborating with. Um, yeah, I would love to be involved with all you guys. And yeah, if you want to do more talks here, uh, we can do something weekly, we can do something daily, we can do something monthly, we can do something whenever. Drag Queen Groomer Hour, safeguarding, Pop and Ollie. Um, I made a background for double mastectomies being elective, being very offensive to breast cancer survivors, not just being elective, but being glorified and normalized and romanticized. Uh, Little Red Riding Hood, uh, sex mimics, lots to talk about. Your work is so spanning so many things. Radical feminism, like another thing that gets a lot of pushback on here is surrogacy. People think that there's no problem with it. It's what's wrong with surrogacy. And I wanted to say to you earlier too that, you know, because you were saying it's also to state sanctioned or not state sanctioned but state controlled birth. This has been hundreds of years in the making of ripping birth from women's and midwives' hands and putting it into the hands of men and into the medical industrial complex, making it a medical emergency, sabotaging and interfering with birth so that women don't even know how to birth anymore. They're just like, we've been indoctrinated to think it's a painful, terrible, horrific, dangerous medical emergency that we need to give away our power to some authority to help us survive it. Whereas birth is supposed to be one of the most transformative, psychedelic, human, connecting, beautiful, sometimes orgasmic, um, integrative rites of passage, like bonding to the baby and you, powerful, life changing, but yet so totally ordinary and normal and everyday experiences possible, right? So, this was taken out of our hands. And then all the reproductive technologies came forward. So, big fertility is an arm of the medical industrial complex that has positioned itself to profit a lot off of sterilizing and mutilating and destroying our children and destroying um, people who are following this path. So, yeah, that's another thing we can talk about, the reproductive arm of it. Surrogacy being horrible. Um, Corn, we can't say the PORN word, we say corn instead of, you know, how destructive and damaging and insanely horrific that is. Um, yeah, corn, prostitution, surrogacy, and gender ideology seem to be the biggest harmful things to women and girls. So if you want to talk about any of that stuff or anything else, tell us about your breast cancer journey. Tell us about anything you want to talk about. You are more than welcome here anytime. Yeah, we need to do more of these. Um, I've read multiple articles you've written. I've read on live your sex mimics 1 and 2 on here. So, and also I'd love to like critique things in the media. I wish I could like hang out with like you and Megan Murphy on those like "Where Are the Women At" lives. I can't show my face though, but maybe I can show up. Uh, maybe I can show up just like with an icon, like just a screen with like a picture on it or something. That would be fun. I've read so much of the research of the porn industry and how it affects us. Yeah, it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. Like it's the worst. So if anybody wants to come up and do a debate, I know that there was some people in the comments who were like, "Yes, it's real." Um, Males who are shown porn are less likely to sympathize with rape victims. Yeah, and less likely to see women as human beings, and less likely to be able to be properly intimate and have form a human bond if you're seeing subjugation propaganda that you've tied your literal orgasm to, which is like astronomical amounts of reward chemicals that in your brain. Like it's just there could be no stronger of a conditioning than to, you know, use orgasm to connect people with propaganda. I think my comments may be filtered. Can people see me? Uh-huh. My YouTube is Martha Talks. Um, I have to upload, I'll upload this one and yesterday's once I figure out how. Hi to you, Danny. Creates violence in males and they're so desensitized and lack impulse control. Yes. Another good woman who is fighting powerfully is Caitlin Roper. Watch anything from Caitlin Roper. Read her book, Sex Dolls and Robots. So she's really concerned about the AI sex dolls, the child S abuse dolls, and the woman abuse dolls. Basically, allowing men to enact their anything they want to on a female body that, it's not a real female body, but it definitely looks and feels like a female body. Uh, Moving in that direction is absolutely horrific. Caitlin Roper, she's amazing. She does a bunch of podcasts. I don't think Martha's seen my YouTube questions. Yeah, I saw it. You said, "What is my YouTube?" It said, "Does anyone, can you not hear me? Can people hear me?" I said, "It's Martha Talks." Here, I'll just type it to you. You can hear me. At Martha Talks. Boop. You can hear? Okay, so yeah, I have to upload this. I'll try to do that tonight. It just takes me like I gotta Google like how do you upload your videos? And I know you go to TikTok or not YouTube Studio somehow and do something. I'll try. There's a few I want to upload. But yeah, if anybody wants to do a quick debate on gender dysphoria, I made a different background for Amy to come back. This one. So perhaps Amy wants to come back and talk about this. I'm just getting Martha Stewart videos. I'm not a YouTube. Did you put at Martha Talks? Hold on, let me look. Here it is. Oops. I don't know if you can you see that? Did it get filtered out, Hula? I just put in my YouTube channel link, but it's at Martha Talks anyway. MarthaTalks. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to find like things that are obscure because I'm not like super visible. Yeah, so I thought I would have Amy back to talk about this if she wants to. Do you see the link? Uh, okay, well, I'm guessing. Oh, thank you. Did we reach the live goal for roses? We did. Wow. We just need what? 10. We need 9 more paper cranes to reach the live goal. Um, Maybe I'll stay and see if we can reach the paper crane live goal. But somebody, if anyone wants to come up and comment on anything they heard from Amy Sousa that struck a chord, or if anyone wants to come and debate really quick, I'm all for it. Otherwise, I'm going to go into the thrift store and check it out. I'm just sitting in my car. I'm just sitting in my car and waiting for a debate. Manimal. I think y'all summed everything up perfectly. Yeah, we got off on a bit of a tangent. Hopefully, we said enough about gender dysphoria. It's just such a it's just so great to be able to talk to her like face to, not face to face but sort of face to face and just like bounce things off of each other. It's really cool, and to get to know her a little bit because you follow someone for many years, and like she said, I don't know her. I don't All I know is what she's put forward on her videos, right? I don't know her as a human being, and it's really cool to get to know people as human beings. I really like that. That's why TikTok is so um unique, right? Because I can just sit here and be human with you guys. Like, and I guess that's why like so many people have ammunition and stuff, and why people are like, it's hard to put people on pedestals here because we're just all so human together. It's not like it can be a very imagey platform where you can definitely like be an image or an icon or whatever. Like you can sell yourself on here as this like image, but you can also just be like a total fucking human being on here, and people can just receive that and they can really see it and they can connect to it. And I think that is unique to this platform. I know that there's other live like situations that you can do like on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, but I feel like TikTok has this incredibly humanizing option that one can take and interact with. And it's really cool to be able to be human with like, I don't know, 20 people here. Just connect you guys all to my humanity, connect to Amy's humanity, connect to each other in a real way that isn't like, and it's not even like, we have like kind of a formal interview ish, like, oh, let's talk about this. But even like podcasters don't quite capture what lives can capture here on TikTok. Like it's hard to keep up the professionalism that podcasts can even sort of evoke. It's just a very human place in some ways here. So I like that. I like that. I've always had a lot of respect for you and what you talk about as much as one stranger can have. Well, yeah, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate being able to connect in this way. It suits me, and I guess that's why I'm here rather than other places, because I can't, like, participating in any kind of facades, like, really, even if it's like selling an image of myself, it grosses me out. I don't want to sell you an image of me. I just want to just be a regular human like everybody else who's trying to stick up for what's right and to do what's right. And I want to be involved with other people who want to do the same. And I think because it's so human on here, a lot of the empathy for these men who want to wear us as a costume is even more so on here because like people like Brookie, like the amount of empathy for that disgusting, perverted, narcissistic, like, absolute degenerate man. Like, the fact that so many people have the time of day for him is because they've connected with his humanity, right? Like, they've been with him, and they see his vulnerabilities. They see the person, right? And you could do that for anybody, like, if you hung out with a P3 all day, and you got to know him, and you heard about his childhood, or you heard about his struggles and stuff, you would start to have a connection with him, and you would start to have time for him, right? So a lot of me needs to disconnect in order to do this activism properly. So, like, I don't connect with Brookie. I don't go on panels with him. I don't listen. I don't have empathy for him. I don't want to have empathy for him. I know he's a human being. I know everyone's a human being. I know that P3s are human beings, and autogynephiles are human beings, and child abusers are human beings, and um, people with all sorts of mental disorders are human beings. Narcissists are human beings. But I don't want to extend my empathy to people who are destructive and toxic. I don't want to involve myself with those people. And to say about Brookie, like, so I was on Reddit. I haven't been on Reddit in months, and I was scrolling Reddit, and he was threatening to unalive himself on his live. And everyone's like, "Don't do it, Brookie, oh my God." And he's just got everyone wrapped around his little finger, and everyone's just trailing along. And this guy just gets off on all of the attention, on all of the sympathy, and the fact that he keeps pushing the boundaries and he keeps doing worse and worse behavior, and then he gets to come back from it every time. Like, he literally exposes himself. He could expose his dick on this fucking app, and people would take him back the next day. It's in fucking insane. Like, the guy just needs to be cut off. Like, he just needs to, like, stop platforming him, stop talking to him. Go away, you sex pest, you gross little man. Like, fuck off. Like, I don't understand why people have well, I do understand the humanizing thing, but the biggest problem I had, and I don't want to get involved with him and his disgusting world, but what really enraged me listening to his bullshit last night was the possibility that he was recklessly driving. So if he was behind the wheel on the live, going, "Let's do this, yeah," and, like, saying he's gonna put himself in front of a semi, there are a bunch of people on the road. The fact that he could unalive a family, or a woman, or an elderly woman, or a man, or a father, or the truck driver, putting that on a truck driver to get into a horrific accident that unalived some narcissistic, perverted asshole who's, like, grifting for fucking sympathy because of his unhinged bullshit. Like, I was just so disgusted. And then people the next day are still fucking coddling this asshole. It's like, that guy could have gotten people unalived. He could have, with his stupidity, like, just fuck off. Like, everyone who gives him the time of day, like, I love you all, but like, Jesus fucking Christ. Stop enabling that man. Stop giving him attention. He doesn't deserve it. Like, would you sit and hang with a P3? Like, would you? I don't know. It's just, yeah. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to go off about it too much, but like, because I'm not in that drama world, but like, because I went on Reddit and I saw what he was doing and I saw how people were reacting and the endless drama with that guy, like, why are you giving him even a moment of your time? Like, just block. Bye bye. Like, go and live your life. And honestly, to the people who think like Raven and Michelle and like to you guys who think that you're helping him by coddling him and you think you're being so supportive and oh, like you're managing him or something, you're actually hurting him. Him being on this app is unhealthy for him. Like, he needs to go and live in the real world. If he does have a fiance and he has this life going on, he needs to go live in that life. And I think that that's actually going to be healthy for him. Not like living in this fucking toxic TikTok world where people are doxing and bullying and harassing and doing things like that set him off and unhinge him. Like, you're not going to be able to protect him on here. So if you think you're some big protector of this disgusting fucking man, he's your pet project or whatever the fuck is that you're doing, you're not helping. You're actually harming him worse. So leave him alone. Like, if he doesn't have any reason to be on here and like suck up the sympathy and the community that he's finding on here and his escalating insane unhinged harmful behavior, like, you keep condoning it, you keep blaming other people for triggering it. Like, you guys are fucking stupid. Like, stop. Just stop. Has anyone noticed a trend in trans males being military vets? Definitely. I mean, I look at it like, um, okay, so I look at it a couple ways. One, being in positions of power and masculinity and whatever, uh, a lot of those men like to slum it in femininity and fetishizing everything female because they view us as like the subjugated, objectified, and they want to free themselves into that and fetishize it for because they're powerful enough and privileged enough to do so, and they like a break from that power and to be the subjugated one or whatever, so they fetishize it. But then also I think like a lot of them have PTSD, so like a lot of people with PTSD can self-medicate through addictions, and paraphilias really act like addictions. Like, they give that dopamine, they give that excitement and that titillation that helps them want to get out of bed in the morning, helps them want to like live and be happy. And so it really makes them feel good to indulge in this paraphilia, to like sort of self medicate in a maladaptive way, uh, to their PTSD with a paraphilia. So I think those are the two main reasons why that is. It is trauma. Yeah, I think it is trauma, but it's also like just being powerful and male and masculine and wanting a break from that to sort of indulge in femininity, indulge in um, fetishizing subjugation and stuff. I just don't want anyone hurt on this app. I would do that for anyone. Uh, he's whatever. Like, he just needs to go away. Like, just the fuck all the way off is what he needs to do. And he's too narcissistic to do anything to hurt himself, I'm pretty sure. I think he's just indulging. And if he is like actually thinking of hurting himself and he's doing that in a way that like will unalive other people on the road and stuff, like, absolutely fuck him. Like, and the fact that like if he's just even if he's driving recklessly, speeding up and looking for a semi and like being insane, like if that was true, absolutely fuck that piece of shit. Like, just The fact that anyone has anything to do with him is hurting. Hurt in. Those utility and debating those things. I don't care about drama insults. I care about policy and law. Me too. Acting like he's a team. This is why I don't really debate trans people, only self-proclaimed allies. Yeah, yeah. They're too deep in the cult. I don't panel with him, and if he comes up, I drop. Yeah, fuck that guy. He's an absolute fucking nightmare of a person. It's like people like feel sorry for him. People think that he's like a pet or something. They think they like to manipulate him or be manipulated by him. Like it's just such a weird toxic relationship with him. Like just tell him to go fuck himself. Be like, get out of here, you nasty, pervy little man. Like go away. Like you would any other sex pest. Just like fucking get. Like, just get. That's how I feel. You being mentally unstable is anyone else's fault, but yourself should involve others. Exactly. Like, fuck that guy. Honestly, if he was driving like that, do you think in real life they would entertain him? Probably not. They'd be creeped as fuck out by him. I wouldn't want anything to do with a man like that. I don't engage. I don't care about anything going on with him, nor am I curious. Yeah, can't really do the Fence City. Yeah, I don't. Whatever. Martha the anti-influencer. Well, don't get me wrong. I want to influence. I want to influence in a positive way. I want to put forth positive influence. I want people to speak up, speak out. I want people to make healthy choices. I want people to do adaptive, healthy things for their bodies and for their minds. I want to influence people to feel empowered and get in touch with their own humanity more, feel more embodied, feel more um, effective and on purpose and focused and happy and loving and um, aligned. I want to influence alignment and harmony. I want people to be agents of harmony. I want to influence people to be agents of harmony. Yes, it's like that is godly. You know, when people talk about being made in the image of God, I think that's what that is. Like God or the creator or the source or whatever it is that is higher intelligence, it creates. It takes chaos. It takes the building blocks of chaos or the what's the word? Materials that chaos provides, and it creates orderly, complex systems that manifest greater and greater levels of harmony. You know, so like for instance, when they say cleanliness is next to godliness, what that would mean is like, so you go into a room and everything's chaotic and in disarray, and you use the power of your focus and your mind and your creativity to create harmony and order in that space, right? And once you do that, everyone can feel the difference. It feels better. It feels open, more effective. People can find things, and disease isn't as rampant because in a clean environment, you're not as likely to get sick. Um, it just creates this utility of um, progress, and it allow like so that's like cleanliness is an example of our organizing abilities due to our prefrontal cortexes. Like we know how to turn chaos into harmony, into complex, harmonious, intentional resources for ourselves and each other. And like works of art and beauty and music and philosophy and science and math, and we take the chaos of the raw chaos, which is like could be seen as like the palette, like the painter's palette, and we take that and we create beautiful order. And so that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to influence people to be agents of harmony rather than agents of chaos. And that's why I'm so disgusted by chaos. Like when I look at that whole CP crew and their toxic relationships with each other and Brookie and drama. And to me, that just looks like chaos and there's no order to it. It's like, oh, now they're friends. Oh, no, now they're not. Oh, now they're attacking each other. Oh, now they're doing this. Now they're doing that. Drama, drama, drama. To me, it just seems like chaos. And I just want to see people focus. Like, if you're here to fight this ideology, don't use that as a way to like be messy with other people. Like, just focus on the issues, focus on influencing each other in a positive way, I guess. No need to tear each other down. No need to be messy and insane. So I'm going to let my headphones charge a bit, then I'm going to go into the store. So I'll just blabber on until my headphones are charged. Unless somebody wants to come up. Let's see what people are saying. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. Your own personal destruction. I get to a point where it's like, do whatever you're going to do, but don't involve others. Yeah, exactly. Like, go away, sex pest. I don't know, I just feel like, how can you go from one extreme to another like that so easily? He needs major help. Yes, he does. With a mix of too much corn. Yes. Trauma response. Yeah. And like seeing people hanging out with cuttlefish too, like on my side, like that just, that made me take a real step back. I'm like, oh God. Like, the weird politics on this app, the way that people interact, I just don't understand it. Like, I don't get it. If somebody does the things that he's done, I don't care if he says sorry. He's like, what? Like, the guy's a fucking psycho. Like, what? I don't know. It's a lot. I try to just leave people alone. If people want to go, I don't even know. I guess just meeting people where they're at, and like if you want to panel and hang out with people that are like literally the worst fucking people ever, like I guess I can't stop you. Yeah. No, and he, like, not only does he dox, but like he stalks and harasses and like finds people's IP addresses and like spreads the information to dangerous people. And like, you know, he put on his stories one day that he was gonna like take me down, and like sure enough, like I lost 7 accounts that week because he fucking stalked me and kept reporting. Like, I feel like people who report should just be ostracized from debate talk altogether. Like, if you're trying to shut down the conversations because of your stupid fucking drama and the bullshit that you're like, whatever kind of hang-ups you have. Oh, I don't like what Martha said. Like, so what? I don't care if you don't like what I said. Go fucking away. Like, go away. You don't have to be around me. You don't have to stalk me and try to silence me because you don't like that I said something. Like, I'm going to keep saying it too. Like, guess what? Sexually attacking and destroying children is permanent and worse than simply attacking them. Attack can be healed from, destruction cannot. And yes, sometimes the attack can also cause destruction, but sexual attack and permanent destruction always causes destruction. You cannot heal from being destroyed. That's worse. And guess what? I want every single human being who supports the sexual attack and destruction of children to be viewed as worse than P3 sympathizers, okay? That's my goal. I would like to stigmatize the absolute shit out of anybody who thinks it's okay to do this to children. Children cannot consent. They cannot consent to sexual connection with an adult. They cannot consent to sexual attack from an adult. They cannot consent to sexual attack and destruction from adults. They cannot consent to any of this. And guess what? You cannot recover from being permanently destroyed sexually by a disgusting P3 cult, by the way, and then everyone's outraged and ostracizing because, you know what, like, and then you let the people who like actually do horrible shit back into the circles and being like, oh yeah, he's cool, he's whatever. It's like, okay, but guys, like, I actually want people to be stigmatized for condoning the sexual attack and destruction of children. And you turn on me for that. It's like, hello, these people, I want this to go down in history as people marching in the streets for sexual destruction of children. Like, people need to understand that they are worse than P3 sympathizers for what they're doing. And that kind of stigma should follow them. They should be confronted with it. And you guys being like, I don't want people to like be confronted with that. It's like, no, they need to be confronted with that. People need to see what they're condoning, see what they're literally going to the streets and fighting for. You might as well be walking the streets saying that like children and adults should be able to, love is love, right guys? Love is love. They should have signs that say love is love and then show an adult and a child in a relationship, because that's what these fucking psychos are condoning. And all the euphemisms and all the cover up and all the bullshit, just as Amy and I were talking about today, how gender dysphoria isn't real. It is in certain ways, but not in the DSM, not the way that they're portraying it. They're using it as an excuse to perpetrate worse atrocities than P3. That's why I made that comparison. It absolutely needs to be said that they're using ideology and the construction of psychological constructions like gender dysphoria to condone worse things than P3. Okay? And I will keep fucking saying that. And I will keep trying to stigmatize the people who support that. And if people want to turn on me for that because they're just like having weird popularity contests and weird hierarchies and weird politics within the dynamics of this app, I don't fucking care. Like, go for it. You can have each other. But at the end of the day, what I actually care about is the children being destroyed permanently, being permanently sexually destroyed by society condoning the permanent sexual destruction of children. Those people should go to jail longer. The people who do this, who permanently sexually destroy children, should, like, everyone who did that to Jazz Jennings, that child was sexually destroyed his entire life. Okay? Unfucking forgivable. Literal atrocities being perpetrated on a little boy for his entire childhood. Longer. Go to jail longer. What committee was Amy talking about? Yeah, I hope TLC pays. I hope his mother pays. I hope everyone who, was involved in not only his sexual destruction, but his exploitation. I don't know what committee she was talking about. Which one are you talking about? Go ahead and clip it. Clip it all day. Yes. Clip this. Permanently or sexually attacking and permanently sexually destroying children is worse than just attacking them. And I guess just is a minimizing word, but is worse than attacking, because attack has the possibility of healing. You can still possibly heal. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes the attack results in permanent destruction, right? But I would say, I don't know the percentage, but I don't know if it's a high percentage of permanent destruction. Most people I know who've been sexually attacked, including myself, have been able to go on to have a sexual function, sexual relationship, a family, and have my whole body intact, right? So that's, But the sexual attack and destruction, which is what is happening to children because of this ideology, there is no healing from that. There is no coming back. That is permanent destruction, guaranteed. Like it's what it is. It's quite literally destroying permanently. So attack is horrific and bad. I do not condone. And for anybody who's saying like, oh, you think that it's better, or you think that you would wish that upon, I don't wish any harm upon a child. I don't wish any harm upon anybody. So saying that one thing, yeah, broadcasting. My daughter's calling me. I'll be right back.